Hello once again guys, back again with another review. Today we are out on the Triumph Tiger Explorer, and this one is the XRT model. So, where to start? Styling. Just walking around this bike, I very much like the styling of this. Now, I've said before that I'm not usually a big fan of these kind of beak type things on the front of these bikes, but on this particular bike it looks really, really nice. Now, you can get, so these bikes start at around £10,000, but at that price, the one you get has like a very much shortened version of the beak and it doesn't look quite right. So to get it in this style to look like this, you really kind of need to go for the higher end ones, which are around about 12,000. But for that money, you do get a lot of bike. I mean, this being the XRT model, you get the fog lights as standard, you get the crash bars as standard as well. As far as I'm aware, you also get the pannier rack as standard, which is quite nice. So yeah, I mean, let's just carry on walking around this thing. So the screen, it's got a very well designed screen. I must admit, out of all the adventure bikes I've driven, this is the best screen, definitely the most functional. It's the first screen that's actually thrown the wind all around me and not had it buffeting around my head, giving me a headache. But it's little things. So this is actually in its highest position at the minute. When it's down here, these don't do anything, but when it goes up, they've put a lot of thought into this. They've actually put these little bits here, so that when it's in the highest position, it still deflects the wind around. You don't get it cutting through. Sort of continuing with that attention to detail, you've got little deflectors here as well, which help to keep the wind off your knees. That's a really nice feature, very nice indeed. Obviously the handguards, again, help to keep the wind away from your hands and everything else, as well as being, you know, functional for protecting you against knocks and scrapes. The little plastic cowling down here, it's alright. I mean, you know, you probably want a metal one really. That's on this particular one, it's alright, but it's, you know, it's not the strongest thing in the world. Right, so we've got a nice exposed frame here. That all looks powder coated with some really decent paint. Moving around, the exhaust looks quite nice actually. It's not bad for a standard exhaust system, looks quite alright. Kind of reminds me of the Aprovic, however you pronounce it, kind of looks a bit like one of those. So that's nice. At the back of the bike, very nice indeed. We've got LED turn signals, LED lights. So yeah, styling wise, very, very nice. Now, moving on to the practical stuff. So, we've got shaft drive. Single-sided swing arm shaft drive. Now that's lovely because, you know, very low maintenance. Yes, you have to replace the shaft, so, you know, at a certain interval, but that's going to be a relatively long interval. And, you know, that means you can go on long, long journeys and not have to worry about chain adjustments, oiling your chain, anything to do with belts or anything like that. It's all just leave it alone and get on with it. All in an enclosed unit so it doesn't get dirty or anything. Very nice. Brakes are Brembo. Similar to the Ducatis that I was driving the other day. Brembo brakes, ABS obviously, traction control obviously, you know, in this day and age with this type of bike, it's all pretty much a standard. Cornering ABS we have, of course. Engine is an inline 3-cylinder. Now this I like very, very much actually. I've just been driving it around a little bit and it is so damn smooth. Now, bearing in mind this is an adventure bike, it's designed for long distances, having that nice smooth engine just really helps you to relax. Everything about this bike so far, actually, for me, has been absolutely brilliant. As I said before, it's the first time I've had a screen that's actually worked with my height. The engine is smooth as anything. There's lots of other gadgetry as well, I'll get onto that in a minute. Just see if I've remembered everything. Now, this is the standard kind of like cast wheel version. They do a spoked wheel version as well for, you know, if you want to do extreme off-roading. But you know, this would be more than capable of off-roading a little bit anyway. Now the suspension is again WP suspension. It's active electronically adjustable, but as you're going along, it's constantly working to prevent you from nosediving under hard braking, and also sort of smooth out the road surface for you, because as I've mentioned before, in sunny old Britain, our road surfaces, generally speaking, are shite. Right, what else have we got? I love the look of this. I like it in this colour as well, but I just think that is a mean looking bike. I like that a lot. I do like that a hell of a lot, actually. That's this is what I wish the Suzuki looked like. Although, to be fair, the price difference between this and the Suzuki, I'm actually starting to swing more towards this, for reasons which I will show you now. Moving on to the other creature comforts, this seat is it's just so well cushioned. It is immensely comfortable. The only thing, actually, they've got a little tank protector here. I kind of wish that went the rest of the way round, like on the Ducati. But, that's a minor thing, because this is the most comfortable seat out of the ones I've ridden so far, without a doubt. So comfortable, so spongy. But this is where it gets really nice. We'll start at the front. Just on the comforts, heated grips, which is, again, fairly standard with this type of bike now. But as we move down, we get down here, there's a little button here. Heated seats. Very nice. Nice for the rider. What about the passenger? Well, heated seat for passenger as well. How about that? That is, you don't get that on any of the other bikes I've ridden. Independently heated and controllable settings for both passenger and rider. Now, I'm looking in the long run, maybe next year after, I'm looking at something like this, and I do want to be able to take my girlfriend on the back, well, my fiance on the back as well, and I think she'll appreciate that. She'll appreciate how comfortable the seat is, but I think she'll appreciate the fact that it's heated. That's just immense. Right, let's get on her and go through the different modes. So, now, actually, again, just sitting on this bike, so I've said how comfortable it is. I like how it makes you feel so enclosed, like everything kind of encloses you in the bike. You feel very much a part of it, which is lovely. So let's get it turned on and let's go through some of the menus. So, interestingly, you've got a menu select thing here, but to actually enter, you actually press this button over here. Now that would normally be the flasher on most bikes, whereas on this bike the flasher is actually here, so, but that's fine. I mean, all the controls, they're very well spaced out. Nice big buttons so you can't miss anything. It doesn't, unfortunately, have a multimedia system like the Ducati did, but, I can live without that. It does have cruise control, which is all set through this here, which again is very nice for the old long journeys. Right, so if we go through the menu, so if I go to the top menu here, that's the screen adjust, so I can enter that, and then I can adjust the screen thusly, but I'm going to leave it where it was because it was providing me with excellent wind protection. Moving on, we've got suspension set up. I can put it through all the different things. I'm going to keep it on normal for now. Actually, no, I'm not. Wait a minute. I'm going to stick it on comfort and see how comfortable this can actually be. Right, moving on. We've got, it just tells us our miles per gallon and everything else. There should be a trip down there somewhere. There's not masses in the way of modes to select. It's mainly just suspension setup and stuff like that. It doesn't have any power modes or anything. It's got about 140 brake all the time, basically. Actually, I forgot something. Let's get off. Because, right, so we've got a power thing here. Lovely little power socket. And we should have, if I'm not very much mistaken, one at the back here. So you can have something in your top box or your side pannier charging as well. And also, before I get back on the bike, the seats are adjustable. If you take the seats off, there are rails underneath, and they've got a couple of levels of adjustment, which means if you're a slightly shorter rider, or if you're a taller rider and you want to raise it up or lower it down, whatever, you can do that. It's fully adjustable. So, you know, this is one hell of a nice bike. It's got slightly less features than the Ducati, and you know, I think even the Suzuki had adjustable power levels, but it's got everything you want. It's got everything you need, and more importantly, it's comfortable. Right, let's get out on the road. Get used to that. Whee. Right. Saying, it's a very, very smooth engine. This little 3-cylinder is beautiful. It's got very, very good power, but it's very smooth the whole way through. I don't know if it's got variable valve timing or not, and to be honest, I don't care, because this is actually smoother than the Ducati was. What else? Yeah, so again, just negotiate these roadworks. As I was saying, with the seat and the comfort, it's just so comfortable. So comfortable. I could sit on this for weeks on end. In fact, I don't even want to get off this bike. So aside from the power and the comfort, going back to the wind, you know, protection, this is doing a fantastic job. I mean, as I said before, the previous bikes, it didn't matter where I adjusted the windscreens, they were never quite right. They always hit me with, you know, I got a lot of buffeting around my head and stuff, which was a pain in the arse. This is doing a fantastic job. I mean, as I said before, I'm only 6 foot. It's not like I'm a giant or anything. But, you know, manufacturers, it just seems to me like the screens are the last thing they think about. Whereas with Triumph, they've really put a lot of thought into the rider comfort, not just about how powerful it is or anything else. Moving on to the handling and stuff, so I've got the suspension on the softest setting at the minute. I've got it on comfort because I like comfort. Oh, look at that. A bit old school. Yeah, I like my comfort. And handling wise, it's really quite nice. It does feel a little bit more top heavy than the previous bike. So the Suzuki V-Strom, the Ducati, the Africa Twin. This does feel a little bit more top heavy, but does it impact how it handles and rides? For me personally, no. The way I ride, it doesn't really make much difference. If you're a bit more of a sporty type rider, well, to be perfectly honest, go buy a sports bike. But you know, but no, I mean it's good. It's well planted. It does actually, despite being top heavy, it does handle quite nicely actually. It doesn't. It just glides around the corners. It feels beautiful. The thing is, this suspension setting might actually be a bit too soft. Hang on, let's just adjust that slightly. Let's put it into, let's stick it in sport actually and see how that. See what that does. Oh wait, hang on a minute. We do have other settings for the traction control and everything else. Okay, so yeah, so you can stick it on sporty mode and stuff like that. I don't think that increases the power, but you can turn the traction control off, you can turn the ABS off. Although actually I've heard this is one of those bikes where leaving the ABS on off-road is actually an option. Now, a couple of years ago you wouldn't have dreamt of doing that because you would have tried to stop and it would have just carried on going off-road anyway. Whereas this bike apparently is much better. I was watching a thing the other day actually, Charlie Borman had a go on one of these and he said you can actually leave it on off-road. It does a pretty good job. So the traction control system on this bike is very good as well. Different settings obviously, but you can, if you put it on its lowest setting and the wheelie control on the lowest setting, it will let you have a bit of fun off-road. It'll let you kick the back end out a bit, but it'll catch you before you do yourself any harm, which is really nice. It's just such a feature-packed bike for less money, if that makes sense. I mean, this particular version is by no means cheap, but it is a lot cheaper than a Ducati, and feature-wise, it's not exactly lacking. I'll tell you what, guys, this is so nice to drive. I mean, I was saying before how much I adored the Suzuki, and I am a Suzuki person. Woo! Yeah, I'm a Suzuki person. I generally, I don't know, I've just got a thing for them. Value for money and everything else. But in this case, I actually think I'm warming to this more than the Suzuki. It's a little bit nicer, well, it is very much nicer looking. It's definitely, out of all the adventure bikes I've ridden so far, it's the best looking. I like the creature comforts. I like the independent heated seats. I mean, that is nice. I like how this is handling. I like how smooth the engine is. Yeah, the more I ride this, actually, the more that top-heavy comment I made earlier, yeah, no, ignore that. It feels fine. It might be because I've just firmed up the suspension a little bit, but God, this is good. I don't want to give this back. I want to go out all day on this. Actually, to be honest, so the shop that I'm testing this from haven't actually given me a specific time when I have to bring it back. The only restriction I've got today is that I've got to be back in my hometown in about 2 hours time, 3 hours time, because my bike's got an MOT. But yeah, they've not given me any restrictions, so I'm just very merrily cruising around. No, do you know what? And I think, yeah. No, do you know what? This is very, very nice. Hello, guys. Hey. Got such smooth power delivery. I know I keep saying this, but this 3-cylinder engine is perfect. It's got a lot of low down power, but it's smooth, silky smooth. Oh, I can do this all day long. Right, let's set that, and does it work? Hey, cruise control. Got the cruise control on. Doo-doo-doo. Yeah, see, the cruise control, so as soon as you touch the accelerator or the brake, it obviously turns itself off, but once you're going along at a constant speed, you can pretty much, I'll tell you what, I feel very, very safe on this bike. Right, let's stick that back on. Stick it on about, stick it up a bit. Cruise control! It's not got steering control though. So we're going through a lot of twisties today, aren't we? See if I can get out onto the main road, we can have a bit of a blast on it. Okay guys, so the traffic was a little bit bad, so I'm not going to take it out onto the motorway and give it a blast, but I mean, it's a 1200cc engine, 140 odd brake horsepower, it's going to be fast. We've already established the engine is incredibly smooth, so you know, it's just going to cruise along at lovely smooth speeds all day long. The cruise control, very nice feature. Only other bike I've seen that on so far was the Ducati. I do like that for longer distances. If you're stuck on the motorway, it's, you know, 60, 70 for God knows how many hours. That is a lovely feature. It's such a comfortable bike. I can't really relay it into words exactly how lovely this is to ride. You'd have to go out and test ride it yourselves, which I totally recommend, by the way. Just go out and have a go on one. They are so great. Again, so, you know, when I said before about it being a bit top heavy, you only really notice that it's not too bad. It's not actually too bad at all, but, you know, when you're manoeuvring around on your feet and stuff. But then, because you can adjust the seat, you know, get it to the right level and everything so your feet are properly planted, it's not really an issue. I love this windscreen, and all these little deflectors, that's just such good design on their part. Well, so yeah, fuel capacity. So it's pretty standard fuel capacity on this. It's about 20 litres. It will do a claimed 50 miles to the gallon, probably realistically closer to 40, 45, depending on how you ride it. And yeah, obviously, like I said before, it's packed full of features. I mean, this version, they all have the button for the fog lights, but obviously this one actually has them installed out of the factory, which is quite nice. You know, the LED lights, nice and bright, you don't have to replace them. I love how easily accessible all the switch gears are. Love the positioning, really nice position on this. I love the seating position. I can't stress how much I adore this seat, and the fact it comes heated as well is just the icing on the cake for this, it really is. Yeah, overall, I mean, I'm very enthusiastic about bikes, and I'm very optimistic about pretty much every bike I ride. But if I was to compare this to everything I've ridden so far, I would say this is actually the best thus far. This is the best one I've ridden, in my personal opinion. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there for today. If you guys do want to know anything else about the bike, please do post your questions in the comments section below. If you did like this video, please do give me a like, and please do subscribe. I do test rides fairly regularly. I've got a motor vlog as well, and a bit of a how-to playlist going on, so plenty of videos to check out. Do go have a look at those. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye for now, guys.